I have graduated from VIT Vellore in computer science engineering, and I graduated in 2021.
Okay.
I joined Shell as a fresher, and
Wow.
I have been working there as a business analyst for the past about 1.5 years. There is a specific purpose why they don't allow you to skip verbal videos, because
Right.
most of the people struggle with verbal, and once they start to skip it, they miss out on the core concepts. My way to look at how an SC question should be looked at through the meaning based approach, which
Right.
Payal has showed in many of the videos,
Mm.
that is that entirely changes your perspective and how you think about questions. At the time when I was doing the course, I just had one thing in mind: do what the course says. I mean, there
Right.
will be lots of overthinking that I should skip this, I should not do this, I already
Right.
know this. It's
Right.
just very simple that you have been given a path. Just follow that path. Don't wander off, because if you wander off, then you're on your own. I mean, it is when you know you're just there. You're just there. You're not exactly at the destination, but you're just there. And then it becomes the hardest to put in the efforts after you have been putting so much efforts, and just to reach there. That final jump is really equivalent to the efforts you put in the entire journey.
So, hi, Ritwik. Thank you for doing this for us, and thank you for being a part of the success interview. Your success story deserves to be out there. And in a few days or a few weeks, once this interview goes public, you are going to be an inspiration for many out there. And before we begin, let me ask you, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, I feel like a really burden has been, taken off my chest now that I finally scored that 90th percentile.
Right.
And there was a lot of pressure on me to, that I can, if I have the potential to do it, I should do it. I should work hard towards it. But now that
Yeah.
I've finally achieved it, I'm not to it.
Right. And trust me, uh, your journey was full of grit, determination, sheer hard work. I mean, it would be an understatement if I say that there are a lot of other people I've seen working harder than you on their journey, because your journey was full of hard work, a lot of determination, uh, not giving up till the time you achieve that 90th percentile. So that's why I say that once this video gets published, you're going to be a source of inspiration for many GMAT aspirants out there who feel it is difficult, who sometimes during their journey feel the need to give up. But I think every time they think of your story, um, it's going to help them. So you are going to actually add a lot to the community. You're going to give it back to the community, and I'm really excited to have you for this interview. And thank you once again for doing it. So I'll ask you a very simple question, Ritwik. We had two attempts. I mean, of course, there
Yeah.
was a third one. The first one was a 640. After that, we had two attempts, a 700 and a 710. We'll speak first about the 700 attempt because that was a different journey altogether, and 700 to 710 was a different journey altogether. So, uh, how did it feel looking at that three-figure 700 on the computer once you submitted your test? And what was the first reaction? What happened?
I mean, from the day I got a 640 to a day I got 700,
Mhm.
I mean, it was something I could not believe. Is there that, because the confidence while giving a 640 was that how do people even get 700? I mean, it may be for some top 1%. I can never
Right.
get a 700. But the day I got a 700, it was just unbelievable that, yes, I mean, it is possible if you just work hard enough and you stay consistent, you can get it. It's not that it's something or rocket science you can't achieve it. It's achievable.
Right. 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 So, of course, I knew from the very beginning that you were aiming for a 90th percentile, and 700 wasn't exactly that. So, was the feeling? Were you more disappointed that missed it by just 10 points, or was it kind of an indication that you know what, I'm inching closer, or was it a mix of both? Just help us understand that.
So to be very honest, the day I saw 700, I was just completely blank. I wasn't sure if it's a good score, if it's an okay score, if it's a bad score. I had no feelings about it. I mean, it was just 700. It's not, it
Yeah.
won't get me to the 90th percentile. It won't pull me down to a bad score. So I knew I could reach there, but then I was just at the threshold. I had to cross
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
So that was the feeling.
Basically, you were like pretty neutral, because I
Yeah.
actually understand that, because that's the reason I asked you, what was it? The happiness of, okay, fine, I at least have a 700, or the disappointment that, okay, you know what, maybe a question or two right here and there, and maybe it was a 710. But I know your journey after that 700 to that 710, which was also exceptional. Once again, full of grit and determination. We'll come to that. Now, before we let everyone else enter your journey, just help all of us with a bit of your background as to what do you do, your academic background, your professional background, etc., etc. Whatever you feel is essential.
Okay. So I have graduated from VIT Vellore in computer science engineering, and I graduated in 2021.
Okay.
So I joined Shell as a fresher, and
Wow.
I have been working there as a business analyst for the past about 1.5 years.
Mhm.
And within that journey, I felt that uh, I do have some time to consider what career I want to choose, and the GMAT would be the right step for me. Although I did start with the GRE first. I did half a course for GRE, but then
Mhm.
I stopped and I took some time to realize that what do I want to do with my career. And
Right.
then I thought that GMAT is the right step. Then I gave almost a year and a half maybe to GMAT, and yeah, so that is it.
All right. Okay. Thanks for sharing your background. Uh, okay. So now that we take our first step into your journey, uh, so before you came to us and you put your faith in e-GMAT, there was one more attempt that you gave. I think you scored a 640 there. Um, and just help us understand your pre-e-GMAT journey, as to how did you prepare for your first attempt of 640, and when you analyzed, what mistakes did you find, and what corrective measures did you believe would help you get to that score. So just the pre-e-GMAT journey, if you could just brief us about that.
So when I started my preparation for GMAT, I
Mhm.
actually did consider two companies. One of them was e-GMAT, and one of them, let it be anonymous.
Okay.
So I consider both of these companies. I saw e-GMAT's course. I took a free trial, but then I had this opinion that because e-GMAT is not giving me the option to skip verbal videos, I should not go with e-GMAT, and I went with the other company.
Okay.
Although there were no videos, but I was satisfied with it, so I went with it.
Mm.
By then, I did not even have the mentality that I could ever achieve a 640, because
Right.
at the very first, like without even studying, I got a 580, and
Mhm.
so overall I could get a 640 by the time I finished that course.
Mm.
I never thought I could get a 700. Although I wanted to, I had the determination to, but then I never believed that I could get one.
Mm.
Later, when I considered e-GMAT again, I talked to the one of the counselors, and they mentioned that there is a specific purpose why they don't allow you to skip verbal videos,
Mm.
because
Right.
most of the people struggle with verbal, and once they start to skip it, they miss out on the core concepts. So
Yes.
that is very, very, very important for somebody to really understand verbal.
Mm. And if I think about your situation, you also were looking for a great improvement in the verbal section. That was a pain point, and I think you made the right choice, because the verbal course that we have is pretty extensive, and
It is.
it touches down upon all the foundation and the basic concepts as well. So that was indeed a good decision. Okay, so you went ahead with the other company, and so so was it this very reason that prompted you to come to e-GMAT, or did you have some other reasons as well, apart from just, the verbal being a very good part of the course that we offer?
No, I mean, it was the overall results as well. I went to e-GMAT website. I did my research. I went with, whatever companies I could find. And
Right.
once I shortlisted them, I mean, I had one clear choice. I mean, I couldn't see going with any other company. It was just e-GMAT because I had already considered it. It was there in my mind. But then the convincing factor was that, the verbal
Yeah.
part.
So any mistakes that you realize you made in your 640 attempt that you were determined to not make once you start your prep with e-GMAT once again? Did you realize anything?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a mistake. It was totally a perspective. So by the
Yeah.
time I was attempting my first GMAT, I had the perspective that what is sentence correction? It's basically grammar. You focus on grammar, you get that correct, you'll
Yeah.
score. And maybe there are some hard and fast grammar rules that you don't remember. If you don't remember them, you'll falter in a SC.
Hmm.
When I started, through the e-GMAT course, my perspective changed. That was the most important thing. My way to look at how an SC question should be looked at through the meaning-based approach, which
Right.
Payal has showed in many of the videos.
Hmm.
That is that entirely changes your perspective and how you think about questions. So
True.
it's not sufficient to just know the grammar rules and you'll be done with it. It's just you focus on the meaning. The you won't even have to focus a lot on the grammar.
Right. True. Very true. Right. So I remember when you started your preparation with e-GMAT, you went ahead and started with quant first. Okay. Now that everybody knows that you come from an engineering background, I think it is understood that maybe quant was always your strength and you felt more confident starting with it. Was that the reason you started with it?
Yes, I did because I felt that since quant is my stronger part, I
Hmm.
would not need that much time on it, and it's just to polish my skills. Go
Hmm.
through what the course has offered. Maybe something that I missed in the previous course that I might get knowledge about this time, and
Hmm.
brush up those concepts, and then put my sole focus on verbal because the efforts I put in verbal would be a lot less than what I'll have to put in quant. To get
Right.
from a Q48, 49 to a Q50, 51 is a
Hmm.
lot more effort than going from a V27 to a V35, 38.
Yes. True.
And that is what something I read on e-GMAT's blog. And, that gave me a fresh perspective that it's not that because quant is my stronger part, so I should focus on it. Because
Right.
there is a lot of scope of improvement in verbal, I should focus more on it.
Right. Right. So I think you started with a Q47 and ended up with a Q49,
Yes.
right? Of course, the improvement looks just a 2 point improvement, but the quant improvement was also a journey in itself. Uh, but I'm sure that going through the quant course and the quant section, the quant preparation, it wasn't as tedious as going through the verbal journey was. So just take us to the quant journey, the difficulties you faced, the things that helped you. I'm very sure that the P.A.C.E.AI must have helped you because I saw that you saved a lot many hours there as well. So just take us through the quant journey to what helped, the challenges you faced, and what helped improve.
So yeah, so one thing that I really liked about e-GMAT's quant course was that there was this P.A.C.E.AI, right? So
Right.
I gave two initial tests, which were a diagnostic test and which test the core concepts of let's just say one particular topic. Let it
Yeah.
be algebra. In algebra, there will be simplifying algebraic equations. So if
Right.
that I gave two tests, and if all of the concepts are tested, then the course tells you that you are already strong in these subjects. You do not need to focus on these topics and you focus on what's really needed, where you are faltering.
Right. Right.
So that helped me save a lot of time because I didn't have to go through redundant stuff. And at the same
Hmm.
time, where I'm faltering, that means there is a concept gap. So it
Right.
helped me fill that gaps.
Right. Right. Makes sense. You also like kind of breeze through the quant cementing stages. Uh, what do you think? What what kind of a role did these cementing quizzes played in this improvement? Because you already come from a strong quant background. So how did the cementing part of the quant course help you here?
So I feel that we do a lot of questions, question by question, question by question, and all it does is gives you a fake sense of confidence that I can do questions in quant. But when
Yeah,
you actually start the cementing stage, you've gone through the course, you've passed the test, let's just say with 100% accuracy. But when you really face the timing pressure and then you attempt multiple questions and you have to consistently achieve that score, that
right,
really shows you the reality that this is where you are, this
right.
is where you are, and this is where you have to go.
True.
So yeah, it's a reality
Right.
check.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, so the quant course was absolutely fine, and you went through it smoothly. There were not many hiccups there, right? Uh, but I remember, that you saying that focusing a lot on the foundation did help you a lot. And while starting with the quant course, did it ever cross your mind as to why do I need to go through the quant basic course because I'm already good at quant, or and then you went through the quant basic course, and did that also help you become a little more confident about where you were and also give you a reality check, the foundation course?
So initially, like most of us think is that it's a very basic course. Let's just
Yeah,
skip it. I did that. I
yeah,
went through with the course. I started faltering somewhere.
mm,
I did not realize why I was faltering. I
right,
repeatedly emailed you that
right,
I'm not able to get it. Why?
right,
You suggested again and again. You have not completed the foundation course. Do
yeah,
it. I went through
yeah,
it. I started solving the questions. My approach was changed. My thinking was changed.
right,
So it really, the concepts, the minor concepts that you miss out because of which you falter in medium hard questions.
mm,
If you just go through the basics,
yeah,
you will realize that you might not even falter there because it's just the very basic concept that you're missing or you're not aware of. You don't recall.
right,
Those lead you to falter in hard questions.
mm, mm. Right. So laying a strong foundation is always important. And that is
It is.
something that even we at e-GMAT promote. We tell students during the onboarding sessions that you might already be at a Q50, but we recommend that you go through the Quant Basics course, or maybe you are already at a V38 and aiming for a V40, go through the Master Comprehension course, because laying a strong foundation does help. And you know what? Despite being so confident about your own quant abilities, uh, I never saw you skipping files unless it was recommended by the P.A.C.E.AI. So I think your diligence there also played a huge part because you never let overconfidence take over, right? And you were always sincere about that. So was there something uh, that you had thought about consciously, that what, no matter what, I'm not skipping any files, or you were always like that, very diligent and very sincere? What is it like?
So at the time when I was doing the course, I just had one thing in mind: do
Mhm.
what the course says. I mean, there
Right,
will be lots of overthinking that I should skip this, I should not do this. I already
right,
know this. It's
right.
just very simple that you have been given a path. Just follow that path. Don't wander off, because if you wander off, then you're on your own. Then you'll have to
Absolutely.
find your way back to the path.
Right, right. So quant done and dusted. Okay, let's come to the most important part of your journey, uh, the part of the journey where the struggle actually looked a little serious, right? The verbal journey. If I just have to give people an understanding of where you started from and where you ended. So it was a V27 when you started, ended up scoring a V38, a massive 11-point improvement. Uh, I was going through a review, and of course, I was rewinding your journey, and I realized that CR was still quite natural to you. I would want to know the reason behind it. But SC and RC were two major pain points, and you came out with flying colors in these two subsections. So let us just first speak about how did you go about your SC improvement, things that helped, the do's and don'ts that you realized, on the journey. So just help us with that.
So I would say I started with the meaning-based approach. I went through the videos,
Yeah.
but I just went through the videos. I did not understand it. I remember
Okay.
till my second last month of the preparation, I was still not clear that I'm getting some SC questions correct, but
Yeah.
why am I getting incorrect, or why am I faltering there?
Mm.
I remember having a conversation with you specifically for this, that why am I faltering in SC? I know the concepts, I know the grammar rules. Why am I faltering in this? I have
Yeah.
gone through the videos.
Yeah.
We had a discussion that maybe you know the meaning-based approach, but you're not, you've not practiced it, or you've not really understood it.
Mm.
Then I went back to the videos that about the meaning-based approach. I
Yeah.
started looking at questions with different perspective, that I just have to extract the meaning. I have to pause. I have to extract the meaning. The
Mm.
answer will come on its own, and that's what
Right.
happened. I remember
Right.
till the time I got my final GMAT attempt, I was almost uh, barely getting one question or two questions incorrect in SC, and I could not believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
Your
amazing.
SC struggle was real, because there was a point in time when even when both of us were clueless. Actually, there was what's wrong? What is happening? And of course, you would know more because I really have no idea as to what's going on in your brains when you're actually solving the SC questions. And this would usually have you would actually do well on those short 10-question quizzes, but come those lengthy quizzes and there would be some issue, right? But I'm glad that we somehow figured out those small gaps here and there in SC, and you paved your way out there, and you ended up with the score, and meaning-based approach really helped. Okay, let's speak about CR. Why were you not so worried about the CR ability?
So even in the mock that I gave I got in the attempt that I got a 640. It
Mm.
was somewhere around 80 to 90th percentile,
Yeah.
and I have been strong with logics. So
Okay.
I didn't really feel that finding a gap between what the author wants to say and what your the actual what he supports the evidence with, the
Mm.
conclusion with. So finding that gap wasn't very difficult for me,
Right.
even when by the time I got a 640.
Right.
So I wasn't very worried about it. But then obviously when I started with e-GMAT, there was this concept of pre-thinking approach.
Right.
So although initially I felt that why am I wasting time in thinking about the approach? I won't even get the time to read the questions.
Right.
But then you realize when you actually think about the approach, the answer will come directly to you. You will at least have an idea that this is the crux of the matter, and the
Mm.
answer that focuses on that crux is the right answer. So it
Right.
helps you in eliminating.
Right. Right. So I think your natural abilities were bolstered a little by the pre-thinking approach, right?
Yeah.
You always were good with reasoning and logic. This method and this direction, right, of maybe using your natural abilities the right way in a shorter span of time, I think that helped you. So CR was once again something in verbal that you did not face a lot of troubles with. Coming to RC, those longer passages, that was also a journey in itself. So were you never an avid reader, or what was it? What were the difficulties that you always had with RC?
So the thing with me is I've never, paid really attention to reading books, novels, newspapers. I'm not that kind of a person. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people have recommended me, but then if I read it, I get bored with it, so I don't. So I haven't ever been a voracious reader, or even just read for fun. I don't do that.
Yeah. Fair
So
enough.
reading was a really difficult thing for me, because reading the passage within the time constraint was like next to impossible for me.
Mm.
So it was
Right.
really difficult.
So then how did you improve your speed and comprehending within those first 3 minutes the entire passage and then solving every question within a minute? How did all of these things happen gradually?
So, uh, so the focus on RC passages, read the question and try to extract the answer. You
Mhm.
can't extract the answer, by skimming through the passage or just, going through a paragraph and, getting an answer out. It's not, it could have happened when we were in school. It doesn't
Yeah,
happen in e-GMAT, in GMAT.
yeah,
So you really have to read the passage, understand the crux of it, because when the exam throws you a inference level question, you
right,
can't just skim through the passage and answer it. You
right.
really need to understand it, and I mean, the more you practice, I wouldn't say even practice. You just, if you do the right thing again and again, even for, let's just say, 10 questions,
Hmm.
you can actually, very easily understand the passage
Yeah,
and go through the answers.
right, right. I remember during the school days, I'm sure even you must have done this. People usually just look at a few important words in the question,
Yeah,
try to look at those words in the passage, and that's your answer. Right? But that doesn't happen with GMAT, and that's a notion and this preconceived notion that people need to get rid of. That it's different. You need to read through the entire passage. Can't simply use your high school methods here. Right.
doesn't work for
Uh,
GMAT.
yeah, doesn't work for GMAT. Right. Uh, so the verbal improvement of V27 to a V38 uh, was also phenomenal one. Uh, but I remember after like you cleared the test readiness stage successfully, we thought that okay, now it's all done. Now let's go to the Sigma X marks, and that's where you know we'll see those numbers that we really worked hard for. But that wasn't the case, right?
That
I
doesn't happen.
remember we were both shocked at your first Sigma X mark attempt because I think it was lower than 640,
It was just 640.
just 640. So, so just tell me what happened, and why you ended up with the 640 there, and what crossed your mind? What were you thinking?
So I really put in, a lot of hours in studying the e-GMAT course and understanding everything that the day I got a 640, I was in a state of complete self-doubt. If I can even achieve something, if I'm achieving 640, that this is the maximum that I can achieve, because I've been studying
Hmm.
for past 3 months, diligently putting efforts, and I still got the same score that I got in a 3 months ago when I had a different course. So maybe
Yeah,
EasyMath did not help me what I was
yeah,
doing.
right,
So that was the feeling when I got a 640.
right. And what do you think went wrong in that attempt, if you remember?
Uh, I feel that because maybe it was the timing issue. I could not handle the things very well. And then again, at that time, I did not have the clarity about SC, neither
Ah,
RC. It was just some CR concepts that, made me achieve some
right,
30, B30, something of that sort. And
right.
maybe quant, I wasn't even, I faced a timing issue with quant. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and also I think it was your first mock after
Yeah.
preparing so much. So I think that experience would have also been a little overwhelming. And like you said, uh, SC and RC, you were there, but you were not completely there. We still had a few gaps, which I think we found almost during the fag end of your journey, right? But we were able to spot those errors and we got through, right? I remember and that 640, and even I was a little shocked as to after putting in so many efforts, what went wrong. But in the end, things ended well, right? And looking at your diligence, looking at the way you were working hard, I made one of the wisest decisions of offering you the last mile push program. I asked you to enroll for it, wherein we both would work even more closely than we used to work otherwise. And one very big reason behind doing it is behind offering it to you was your diligence and the way you were working hard. So I knew that because look, LMP extracts a lot out of the mentors as well, because we are as invested in this as
Yeah.
you are, and I'm sure you would vouch for it. So it's important that our efforts, uh, go out there with the right person, with the right mindset, uh, even if the ability is low. But if the person is willing to work hard, that's where our effort should go. And that was one very important reason why I thought of offering this to you, because I knew that even if this takes time, but you will be there because of your hard work, right? So any 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 few things that you remember about the LMP that helped you get through the challenging phases out there?
So, I mean, when I was offered the LMP, I did not have a idea as in what the LMP is going to do differently for me.
Yeah,
I thought it would just be an additional help, so why not go for it? Because anyway, I want to achieve that score. Let's just try it out, what it is.
right.
After doing it, my I'm so thankful that I went with the LMP program, because I had a guide, you as a guide, right? So that gave me a lot of motivation and a boost to that, somebody is there to help me out.
Right.
Whatever I falter with, there is somebody by my side at my corner who will guide me and support me and tell me where I'm going wrong.
Mm.
Even great players like Virat Kohli need a coach to tell them that this is where
Yeah,
they're going wrong.
true,
So the importance of a coach cannot be overstated.
true, true. That's very true. And I'm so happy that I thought about offering it to you, because I think me offering it to you, you accepting it, are probably the two actions that we took, because of which we are sitting here doing this little interview and walking through your journey once again. And you're very rightly put. If great players like Sachin and Virat still need a coach, uh, because that it's always important, always helps actually to have a companion, because the journey of life, the journey in sport, the journey towards success in any field is always more difficult when you're on your own, right? When if you have someone on the side of the field, outside the field, looking at you and telling you about where things are going wrong, that always helps. Even if the person is not there to tell you the gaps, it's always great to know that when I go back to the dugout, I can vent out my frustration right with somebody, and that person will listen to me, and that also helps, right? And I remember there were so many occasions when you sent an email across saying that, you know what, I'm frustrated now, I don't know what's going wrong. And this reminds me of the most challenging phase of your journey, which was going from a 700 to a 710,
Yeah.
right? Because just the 10-point improvement, but that needs even double the effort that you put in from a 640 to 700. So I remember still trying to find out those gaps in SC. So what was that little journey like from a 700 to a 710? How tedious was it?
So I mean, the the way it starts from the day I got a 700. I'm traveling
Mhm.
back to home. I am in a mixed state of mind that should I even give another attempt?
Yeah,
I called my mom. I'm like, it's okay, 700. I'll get an average score. It's okay. I can't maybe get more. 700 is okay. Maybe let's let it go. My
yeah,
mom is like, if you have targeted for something, why are you settling for less?
yeah,
You have the time, you have the resources. Why not just go for it and achieve what you have targeted?
yeah,
So that day I thought that whatever it is, I am sure that I'll not get a something below a 700. I have to get
right.
something above it. Whatever it is, I am okay with it, but I'll not stay for a border 700.
Hmm. Right.
So then I remember that I was struggling with RC a lot. There were
Hmm.
so many videos. You shared so many extra videos. I went
Yeah.
through so many seminars. But it's like if you don't understand the perspective, if you just see the videos, they're not going to help you. You
Right.
really need to understand it and apply every, okay, let's not say everything, but then at least 80 to 90% of it, whatever you've learned through the videos. Because
Hmm.
just watching it is not enough. You watch
Yeah.
Netflix, you might remember something, you might not remember something. It's just
Yeah.
the same thing. You
Yeah.
really need to understand and apply it, then only, it can change things for you.
Right. I remember getting on a call with you and you telling me that, you know what, Dhruv, this is my last shot. Whatever happens, I am not taking another GMAT attempt now because I'm just so done, just so frustrated. Uh, and I could feel the pain because I knew you were feeling low. Uh, but then, do you believe that this phase of the journey was the most challenging?
I mean, it is when you know you're just there, you're not exactly at the destination, but you're just there. And then it becomes the hardest to, put in the efforts after you have been putting so much efforts
Hmm.
and, just to reach there. That final jump is really equivalent to the efforts you put in the entire journey.
Entire journey. Yeah, very true. Very true.
So,
So, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, just it's not that you're exhausted with something, but it's just the mentality that you have that I'm already there, but you're not already there. You still have a jump to make.
Yeah. And you
So
need to
that's very
make that
important.
jump when you are exhausted. There's no energy left because you're drained out. And that's
Yeah,
when life asks you to make that one big jump when you have nothing left in the tank. But that doesn't that actually make all the difference, that tests you
it does.
mentally.
I mean, you have to put your faith in yourself that if you have achieved this much, you can go further. And like, if you run a marathon, it's better that you complete it rather than you run halfway and stop. That I did
Yeah,
this much.
true, true. And after every breakdown, I'm sure that there would be something happening from within that once again asked you to find Ritwik, stand up, one last attempt. What was it? What were you thinking after every breakdown that you had, right? What was it that brought you up once again?
So right from the day I started my journey till the end day, it was just one ambition that I don't want to settle for the mediocre schools, or I don't want to settle for the less than
Right,
what I can achieve.
right.
So that just kept me going. I'm performing bad. Okay, take some time off, get your mind cleared.
Hmm.
What's the end goal?
Right.
I don't have to settle for the mediocre. I have to go for the top.
Hmm.
So that kept me going.
And also, Ritwik, you've been a working professional throughout this journey. Many aspirants out there, they believe that, you know what, this is not possible while I'm working, and many people take this big decision of quitting their jobs and taking their financial risk. Uh, but I think that's not really a smart decision because there are so many people like you out there who manage the prep and their work simultaneously. So just take us through how would Ritwik's day look like? A normal day in Ritwik's life would look like from working in the day to then prepping. When would you wake up? What time would you wake up? When would you prep? What time of the day would you spend on the prep, etc., etc. Whatever you feel is relevant.
So my work usually starts at 10, right?
Mhm.
What most people do is they wake up at 8 or 9, have breakfast, sit for work.
Yeah.
I started developing this habit that I have to wake up at 7, give myself 15 minutes, not obviously on the smartphone, it distracts you. But then after those 15 minutes, that from 7:15 to let's just say 9:30, that is the time I can put maximum efforts because at that time there won't be any distractions. I usually wouldn't want somebody to come and disturb me, or there is nothing I can do. There is no work distraction, nothing. That is the
Right.
best time when you study, and the moment you're done studying, you have such a positive feeling that I have already, the day has started, the day hasn't even started, and I've already done so much.
Wow.
It gives you such a great feeling of positivity. And
Wow.
then when you're done with work, I never sat just immediately after work, because I was always exhausted after, working.
Naturally.
Spend some time, let's just say, go play my favorite sport, or maybe hit the gym, just go for a bike ride, come back, and don't study too much, because you've already gone through the day. You'll be
Right.
exhausted. You don't want to, put yourself in a fatigue. So
Right.
it's better that give at least 1 hour or maybe 2 hours. That is sufficient. That is more than sufficient.
Right.
4 hours a day is more than sufficient. And
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
weekends, it was mainly like, again, I didn't woke up late on a Sunday just because it's a Sunday or it's a Saturday. I wake up at 7, do those 3 hours, then do whatever the hell I want throughout the entire day. And
Uh,
I dedicatedly gave those 6 hours. And the most important thing is time management.
Right.
So I knew which hours I want to study and which hours I don't want to study. I do whatever I do want to do in those remaining hours, but the hours in which I want to study, nothing should come in between.
Right.
So that schedule really, helped me out.
Yeah, that matters a lot. And I loved your perspective when you said, after I'm done with my prep in the morning, I feel very positive because, yeah, that's so true because there are two things you were doing, working and a GMAT prep, and half of the tasks were done in the first 2, 3 hours in the morning. And that's such a good way to look at things, right? Wow, this will help people. Now, success doesn't happen because of just yourself, just because of the coach, your family and your biggest cheerleaders out there, your friends, your family, your siblings, they play a huge part. What kind of a role and a contribution did your family have or your friends have in this journey?
So so there are two sides to this. One is my family, right?
Right,
As I told, my mom clearly told me, you've aimed for it, go and achieve it. Don't settle for less.
right,
That was the most inspiring thing for me, because I knew that I have the potential, I can do it. Then let's not settle for less.
true.
Even whenever after my exam I'm disappointed, I call my dad that it's not happening. He says it's okay if it's not happening. It might not happen today, but don't give up on it until unless you realize that this was your best. If this is your
Hmm.
best, then go ahead and settle for it. If you think
Wow,
it's not your best, then at least work hard till you achieve it.
wow, that's so nice. Hmm.
Yeah. And then my friends. So I mean, there are a lot of plans on weekends, and everything where people want to go out and have fun and party and all that. But I really appreciate the fact that if I tell my friends that I can't come for something, they would really understand it, and they would be like, okay, you do whatever you want. Whenever you have time, let us know. We'll plan it out something at that time.
Right,
So that also plays really a big part, that your friends
true.
adjust.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
true friends who let you grow,
Yeah.
right? That's so sweet. I love your parents' motivational quotes because they are actually giving me also a good perspective, a different perspective about how do I look at things. Quite a few things that even I've learned. One from you, a couple of things from your father. That it's okay to settle for something, but only when you believe that that was the absolute best that you could do. And wow, that's too good. Do thank him from my behalf for letting me learn this today. All right. Uh, Plans for further steps? Are you applying anywhere?
So I might apply this year, but then there's always this factor of experience. So
Right,
I'm about to complete 2 years of experience, but then most business schools ask for a maybe 3 year experience. So I will probably take a shot this year, but
right.
then I'm not very hopeful this year. But then I want to learn from what am I
Yeah,
missing that the schools want. So I'll probably apply this year, and then next year I'll put my 100% efforts and to get in the school the following year.
Right, right. So you plan to work a bit on a profile as well, which makes a lot of
Yes,
sense.
because GMAT would be around 30% of the journey,
Yeah,
but then the 70% is still remaining. This
yeah.
30% is really important, because if you lack here, then not everybody of us has a stellar
Great
profile,
profile.
a
Yeah,
presidential honor, nothing like that. But
sure.
then this 30% gives you a boost, then you work
Yeah,
towards the 70%.
that's great to know. That's great to know. I wish you the very best for your next steps. Now, since we are coming to the end of the interview, I'm sure you've already given a lot of tips out there throughout your interview to all those aspirants who are going to watch this video. Uh, Apart from all that you mentioned, is there anything else, any other tip, any other advice that you feel uh, the aspirants should know about or will help them? Just go forward. The stage is yours.
So there are two things I'll tell everybody who wants to achieve a great score. One is be disciplined about it. Follow a schedule.
Right,
Take out the time that you think that is there, and make sure you give it that time. Don't
right,
skip it even for a day, even for a Sunday, not a holiday. If you schedule that, okay, I can't study for these days, that's okay. That's completely okay. You don't have to feel guilty about it. But then
right.
you should be disciplined. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to work really hard for something and then
True,
expect results,
true.
because it hinders your performance.
Yeah,
The second thing is believe in yourself, because I'm telling you that before I got a 700, I I had this very limited personality, thinking that I cannot achieve a 700. 700 is for some exceptional people. It's not for me. The day I got a 700, and maybe a few marks before that, I knew that nobody can stop me from getting a score below 700. I have that. I've developed that much skill. I have that ability and the potential, and I will get something above 700. There's no doubt about it.
mm,
So believing in yourself is very important, because people feel that this is something superficial and it cannot be achieved. It can be
right,
achieved. It's not that difficult. It takes
right,
effort, but then it's not that difficult.
right, right. Usually, people make their success sound difficult, but you are superb, my friend. There are very few
Thank you.
people who go out and say, you know what, I've done it, it's simple, go do it. Because people usually want to make their success look large,
Yeah.
and they say that, you know what, I worked a lot and it's very difficult out there. A good quality to have. I really appreciate that, Ritwik. You've been a fantastic person to work with. Really proud of your journey. Really proud to have been a part of your journey. And once again, thanks a lot for doing this. This is going to
Thank you very
help
much.
millions out there. I hope you had a great time walking that entire journey once again.
It is. It is.
Right. So thank you so much. And I shall see you someday. Thank you.
Thank you very much.